Hi there, welcome to the Happy Chicken Coop YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be talking about and answering the question, how long do chicken eggs last before going bad? Before I get into that, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, make sure to subscribe to the website, thehappychickencoop.com. If you subscribe using the link in the description below, you'll receive a free ebook on the 10 best egg-laying chicken breeds. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. Often when I'm handing over a dozen eggs to a new egg customer, they ask me, how long can my eggs be stored before they go bad? This opens up a rabbit hole of other questions and bits of information people are likely not to know about with respect to storing, washing, and keeping and eating eggs. So how long do eggs last? Well, it depends upon where you get them from, how long they've been there, and how they were treated before they come into your kitchen. Now, obviously, most egg consumers, at least in the US, buy their eggs from a grocery store because of the outbreaks of food poisoning due to the bacteria Salmonella enteritis found in a small percentage of grocery stores. The US FDA enacted the egg safety rule, which went into effect July 9th in 2010 for egg producers with 50,000 or more egg-laying hens. In 2018, the FDA updated its page on egg safety. It recommends following practices much more conservatively than ever before with respect to selling, buying, storing, and eating eggs. In 2018, the US FDA revised the publication. If you want to look at that special segment written for the customer, I'll link to that FDA resource page in the description. Now, let's talk about how you can keep eggs safe. You can keep them safe by making wise buying decisions at the grocery store. Number one, buy eggs only if sold from a refrigerator or a refrigerated case. Also, open the carton and make sure the eggs are clean and then the shells are not cracked. Store properly in a clean refrigerator at a temperature of 40 degrees or below. And use a refrigerator thermometer to check if you're really, that concerned. Also, store eggs in their original carton and use them within 3 weeks for best quality. Now let's talk about storing. Proper storage of eggs can affect both quality and safety. As far as hard-cooked eggs, if you're going to eat them, make sure you use them or eat them in the shell or peeled within 1 week after cooking. For frozen eggs, make sure to use or, obviously eat them within 1 year. Eggs should not be frozen in their shells. To freeze whole eggs, beat yolks and whites together. Egg whites can also be frozen by themselves. Also, if you're going to refrigerate leftover cooked egg dishes, and make sure to use within 3 to 4 days. When refrigerating a large amount of a hot egg containing leftover, divide it into several shallow containers so it will cool quickly. Clearly, these recommendations and the laws that large farm egg producers must follow are very conservative. Egg safety appears to be a precise and daunting, sometimes confusing business, especially since cartons found in stores, which usually contain both a best buy and sell by date, are not clear, and how many days it took for the egg to be packaged after it was actually laid. The accuracy of exactly 30 days as a sell by reference and 45 days as a use by reference is kind of irrelevant if an egg could be packaged anywhere from 1 to 2 or 3 or more days after it's laid. So what's the bottom line? When buying eggs from the grocery store, put them in the fridge and try to use them within 4 to 5 weeks' time. If you're not going to eat them within that time, consider hard-boiling or freezing them without the shell. If you want to know how long hard-boiled eggs last, we already have an article on that. I'll link to that in the description. Also, buying eggs from a local family farm or small egg producer, or of course, raising your own hens is a whole different ballgame. Why? Well, of course, because you probably have a much better chance of getting a truly fresh egg from one of those avenues. In fact, eggs that have been brought in from the coop unwashed, which is the key, can easily sit outside the refrigerator for 4 weeks or a month before eating. I don't recommend pushing it to that limit. I would try to eat it within 2 weeks. That's just my personal opinion. I can just already kind of tell they just, they don't taste as great. Chicken eggs are naturally laid with a coating called a cuticle on the shell that serves as a barrier, also known as the bloom, against bacterial contamination. This cuticle or bloom that coats a fresh egg shell is mainly composed of protein and is also very rich in phosphorus. Albeit thin, the mighty cuticle limits movement of particles, water, and bacteria through the shell pores. And it winds up being the most important chemical of defense of the eggshell against most or all bacterial penetration. Ironically, the amazing natural coating on a fresh egg is all but destroyed by the very thing we do in order to try and make the egg cleaner by washing it. This is why when I take my freshly laid eggs from the coop, and I plop the eggs in a basket on the counter, they can stay that way for literally weeks and still be wonderful to eat. The coating on the egg has not been disturbed and is doing its job protecting the inside yolk and white from spoiling by bacteria. If I'm inclined to eat or use one of my eggs for cooking, I always wash an egg, especially if it's dirty, but it's just, I just don't want to make that risk of cracking open a dirty egg into a bowl and then trying to cook it. It's just, to each their own. I don't recommend it, but you decide what you want it. You do you. Eggs from your grocery store have all been put through a wash process, and since this process destroys the natural cuticle, the eggs must then be refrigerated to prevent any lingering bacteria from easily entering and contaminating the egg. For this reason, store-bought eggs must be kept in the fridge. So you want to figure out if your egg is fresh. An easy way is to perform the egg float test. We've already done a video on this, and if you want to check that one out, I'll link to that in the description. As time goes on and eggs age, moisture and carbon dioxide evaporate from the shell's pores and air is allowed to seep in. This creates an airspace between the shell and the white. The older the egg, the larger the airspace. Putting a questionable egg in a bowl of water and noting the buoyancy, how well it floats, tells you how big the airspace is. The older the egg, the larger the airspace, the better it floats. A telltale fresh egg is one that is sunk into the bottom. So how long can fertilized eggs last? I find it truly amazing that so many adults have no idea if a rooster must be present in order for a hen to lay an egg in the first place. Just like human females, hens release eggs on a regular basis. When fertilization of an egg, be it a human or hen, occurs, then the result is exactly what you would expect. If the fertilized egg is allowed to gestate, a baby will be made. If in fact there is no fertilization in a hen's case, that would mean no rooster has been allowed to mate with her. Then the hen's eggs will absolutely have no chance of a chick coming out of it. If the egg has been fertilized and all goes well as far as the temperature goes, a chick will emerge from the egg in approximately 21 days. If the fertilized egg is promptly refrigerated after being laid, on the other hand, it will just remain an egg and is otherwise identical to a non-fertilized egg in appearance and flavor. Absolutely 100% fine to eat. Chances are small farms with roosters and hens mingling together have many eggs fertilized on a regular basis. Unless, however, these eggs go for over a week under perfect temperature conditions, 99 to 102 degrees Fahrenheit, there should not be concern over having a chick form inside the egg. Again, they're perfectly fine to eat. So to summarize, at the end of the day, bad eggs, while potentially dangerous to human consumption, are far and few between. The USDA responsible egg handling combined with the egg's natural defenses against bacteria have done a good job keeping bad eggs in check. As normal practice goes, good eggs and bad eggs are readily discernible, even if only by smell. Not so much maybe with the good eggs and the bad eggs of the humankind, but that is another topic for another day. That's going to do it for us here at the Happy Chicken Coop. Thanks for listening. If you find our content interesting, if you learn something new, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And with that, I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.